Racing to the 2020 Kentucky Derby, and this time let's take a look back at the Ellis Park Derby and the Travers Stakes from the Spa, Saratoga. Two impressive winners, and I believe we have seen the horses that'll be the top two favorites for the 2000 Kentucky Derby. Let's start off with Saturday at Saratoga. It was Tiz the Law, bet down to 3-5 on the board, and he did not disappoint as he was prominent early in the pace. Kind of came up on the second turn, engaged the leaders, and then drew off to a 3.5 length victory. And we'll talk about some of the details in just a moment. Carroll picked up the second place finish, and rounding out the top three was Max Player. Meanwhile, at the P-Patch on Sunday, it was Art Collector again, bet down to 2-5. He opened up at 1-9 on the board, went to the lead, shrugged off a bid from attachment rate on the turn, and then picked up the victory. Both of them as moving away and moving ahead as favorites on to Louisville, the Twin Spires. Let's take a look at how the two trips kind of evolved and some of the top numbers from those two races. Let's start with the Travers Stakes. The impressive Tiz the Law winning by 3.5 lengths, and he picked up, according to the Buyer Boys, a 109 Buyer speed figure. Carroll finishing second, and Max Player rounding out that trifecta. Now, Tiz the Law, he moves his record to an impressive 5 for 6 wins, and his only loss, remember, is underneath the Twin Spires at Churchill Downs. It was in the slop. It was starting to get dark. And he kind of was trapped a couple of times. There was some speculation after that race that Manny Franco had maybe not really ridden the best ride in that race, and there was some speculation early in the winter would Manny Franco stay on the mount with Tiz the Law. But those concerns have been allayed, especially the last 2-3 races. A pretty outstanding effort in the Belmont Stakes. Then came back here. He seems to like that pounce and cat and mouse game trip. He can sit just on the outside of the speed and then kind of draws away. Impressive was the gallop out by Tiz the Law on Saturday's victory. Meanwhile, Carroll, he followed up that nice Peter Pan effort. He had definitely ran the better race. He had ran 45 more feet than the winner that day. He was coming off the long layoff. He had a good workout. You knew he was probably going to improve a little bit. He did. If Tiz the Law wouldn't have kind of freaked in this race, Carroll would have won the race because, as it turned out, Uncle Chuck wasn't ready to go 1.25 miles off 2 starts. Meanwhile, you had Max Player running on for third, another solid effort from him. He's still kind of starting to get into the groove, and the Derby will be his first race on a shorter layoff. Ellis Park, the difference in that race was Art Collector just really being aggressively ridden and going to the lead right away. When you're 2-5 favorite, you've got the speed. Art Collector picked up a 100 speed figure in his race, and then you had attachment rate, making a nice mid-race move. He had kind of hinted at some ability in a couple of his trips, and the Necker Island, the big nice claim, rounded out the top three. I think Art Collector and attachment rate will definitely go to the Kentucky Derby. We'll see about Necker Island. And from the Travers Stakes, the top three are expected to go to the Kentucky Derby with Tiz the Law, Carroll, and Max Player. That's a look at the recaps of the Ellis Park Derby and the Travers Stakes. As we look ahead to the Kentucky Derby, let's take a look at some of the notes now. And right now we have probably Tiz the Law. Will he be even money? Some speculation that we could have our first odds-on favorite in quite a while in Kentucky. Got to remember, even American Pharoah and Justify went off at 5-2 and 2-1 odds. Art Collector, what are his odds going to be? From the future pools, it looks like he could possibly be 7-1, maybe 6-1. And then you got a horse like Honor AP, who probably will be in that 9-1 range coming off the loss in the Shared Belief. And then rounding out the top 4 favorites for the Kentucky Derby is probably going to be the Bob Baffert trained Authentic. He's going to probably pick up some of the steam now with Uncle Chuck and Suzanne not making the race. Of course, he's also going to have 1,000 Words in the starting gate. Right now, the speculation is how many horses will we have? Will we have a full gate of 20? It looks like we're going to have 18, 19 horses kind of aiming for that Kentucky Derby right now. We'll see if we get any attrition rate out of that. But horses like Finnick the Fierce and Major Fed and some other horses were already training up to the Kentucky Derby. So if they stay healthy, I think we're going to still see probably 20 horses in the starting gate. And that's a look at your Ellis Park Derby, your Travers Stakes. Remember, hit subscribe. Share this horse racing video with all your horse racing friends, and remember, ring that bell for notifications as we lead you up to the 2020 Kentucky Derby.